everyone, and welcome back to Doctor Who's Crown Jewels, and we need to talk about Season 8. I would say Season 8 is probably the weakest season we've covered thus far. I mean, it's pretty on par with Season 3, to be fair. Sure, it doesn't have the arc, which, the arc definitely dragged down Season 3, but Season 3 more than made up for it, with the fact that the longest story in the season was also the best, and with another cracking story at large. Season 8 kind of goes from okay, I guess, to good, I guess. There isn't really an honourable mention, because although I do like every story in this season, there's nothing that particularly wows me other than the Crown Jewel candidate itself, because there's quite a gulf in quality between the Mind of Evil and the rest of the season. The goings-on at Stangmore Prison, with the Keller machine that the Master has built using a living creature to absorb all the negative thoughts of the prisoners at Stangmore, to make sure they don't commit another crime. Everything to do with that is quite interesting, and Stangmore basically being the majority of the story really shows which one is more interesting. Because the peace conference and the Chinese delegate dying and all the stuff to do with that, I don't really see the point in that. Because if the Master's plan was to steal the missiles, wouldn't he just need to do that? Because UNIT were doing that anyway? I might have missed something. I don't know. Ask anyone at Universal's about me missing something about a story in Season 8, and they'll point right to the demons. Character-wise, we've got the Master now, who is the main antagonist for the entire season, and he's amazing, phenomenal. Roger Delgado is one of the best recurring villain actors the show has ever had, and I feel like any attempt to recapture his legacy since has been fairly unsuccessful. There are some incarnations of the Master people may prefer to him for their own reasons for what they bring to the character, but I don't think anyone's out Delgadoing Delgado, if that makes sense. I have issues with the Doctor in this season. For some reason he's just a bit mean. Like, I get that he's having a bit of friction with Jo after respecting Liz a lot in the last season, but he's just kind of a dick to everyone, including Jo, unnecessarily. It doesn't even feel like their conflict actually stems from anything. I just think the Doctor is bullying Jo, which is not the sort of reaction I would expect from this incarnation of the Doctor, really. He has no nonsense for anyone, but, for people who aren't even deserving his no-nonsense attitude, I don't get it. Yeah, the Third Doctor's not particularly my favourite. When I like him, I love him, but I don't really like him in this season at all. He's alright in The Mind of Evil, don't get me wrong, and I think throughout the season he does get a bit better, but because The Mind of Evil's still fairly early in the season, I'm a bit His best material is against Roger Delgado as the Master, simply because the Master does deserve that bantering attitude, and John Pertwee and Roger Delgado got on really well. The Brigadier's still great, and I really love how Nicholas Courtney was able to convey stress, because it's a stressful situation, and he even got to have a bit of fun pretending to be a milkman or something. Benton and Yates are pretty good, and Jo. I like Jo. I feel like if the script was tightened up a bit, and if it were in any other season, I would enjoy it a lot more. In fact, I would consider it an all-time classic of the show. But I genuinely feel like its existence in this season is hampering it. Maybe I would even look past some of the sort of plot details I'm like, because I would be distracted with how good it is. When the Pertwee era is good, it's amazing. I just don't like Season 8's vibe at all. I will say, my favourite moments from this story are when the Doctor and the Master are being subjected to the Keller machine. What the Keller machine does to attack people, because it does attack people, is that it psychologically makes them believe that their greatest fears are attacking them. Someone who had an intense fear of rats died with scratches on his face, someone with a fear of drowning fully drowned in a bone-dry room. And how it tried to attack the Doctor was, firstly, it attacked him with fire. He saw a burning world in Inferno, and that's something that traumatized him, really. I mentioned it last week with Inferno, but still, this is an incredible part of continuity in Doctor Who, and that is very much down to the fact that Don Houghton wrote both Inferno and The Mind of Evil. Okay, so no wonder why it's good. Why didn't he write any more? Another way that the Keller Machine tried to attack the Doctor was a bunch of monsters like the Daleks, the Cybermen, all that jazz. Meanwhile, it did attack the Master, and it's probably one of the greatest moments in all of Doctor Who. The Master's greatest fear is the Doctor laughing at him. I love The Mind of Evil for this. And yeah, it feels like a lost Season 7 story. It has a lot of action, it has a lot of suspense, it has a lot of interesting ideas, it has a lot of great performances. It's a similar tone to Season 7. There's also other characters that are really good in the story too, and I honestly think you should check out The Mind of Evil. Season 8 may not be for me, but it may be for you. A lot of people do really enjoy this season, and there are merits to it. And as I say, I don't think any story of the season is bad. They're varying levels of okay to good. Because The Mind of Evil feels like it should have been in a better season, I will have to say it is the crown jewel of Season 8. That was an interesting episode. I wasn't expecting to hate on Season 8 that much. I don't even think it's a bad season. I just don't like its vibe. Let me know what your thoughts on Season 8 are below. And next time, we're going from overrated to underrated with Season 9. See you guys then.